Positive habits create the path to a stronger mindset, and a strong mindset creates the strength to achieve anything you set your mind to. Most people go through life on autopilot, repeating the same patterns every day without noticing how those choices shape their thoughts and feelings. They get caught in routines that drain their energy and hold them back from reaching their full potential. What they should do instead is take small but powerful steps that train the mind to think in a new way. Positive habits are not about big, overnight changes, but about consistent actions that slowly reshape the way you see yourself and the world around you. Each habit becomes a tool that helps you gain focus, build confidence, and create a stronger sense of purpose. These habits can open doors to growth and happiness you never thought possible. If you're ready to rewire your mindset, then let's dive in. Chapter 1. Start your morning with gratitude and focus. Most people wake up and the first thing they do is check their phone. They see messages waiting. They see news that feels heavy. They see problems that are out of their control. And before the day has even started, their mind is filled with noise. They feel tension before they even get out of bed. They feel rushed before they even have breakfast. That is how many people begin each day. And the truth is, the way you start your morning sets the tone for everything that follows. If you start with noise, you carry noise. If you start with pressure, you carry pressure. But if you start with gratitude and focus, you carry strength. You carry calm. You carry control. That is the power of how you choose to begin each day. When you choose gratitude as your first thought, you give yourself a foundation of peace. Gratitude is not about ignoring problems. Gratitude is about seeing what is still good and still working in your life. It is about reminding yourself that even in the middle of challenges, you still have reasons to keep moving forward. Gratitude slows down the chaos that tries to take over your morning. It calms your breathing. It clears your mind. It reminds you that life is not only made of what is missing, but also of what is present. And when you build your day on that mindset, you are not easily shaken when difficulties appear. You are stronger because you began with the right perspective. Now let us talk about focus. Focus is the second half of a powerful morning. Many people allow their day to control them because they never take control of their focus. They wake up and react to whatever comes their way. But if you give yourself even a few minutes to decide what you will focus on, you will notice the difference. Focus is like giving your mind a direction. It is telling yourself what matters most today. It is reminding yourself what deserves your time and energy. Without focus, you are pulled in every direction. With focus, you move with clarity. You may ask, how do you combine gratitude and focus in your morning? You start by taking a quiet moment before reaching for your phone, before rushing into tasks, before allowing the world in. You sit in silence for a few minutes. You breathe deeply and let your mind settle. You think about 3 things you are grateful for. They can be small or big. They can be as simple as having a warm bed, a safe home, or a loved one. You feel that gratitude in your body. You let it bring you peace. And then you shift to focus. You ask yourself, what is the one thing I want to give my best energy to today? You set that intention clearly. You decide that no matter what happens, that one thing will have your attention. That practice alone can change the way you experience your entire day. At first, it may feel difficult. Your mind will want to wander. Your habits will want to rush you back to your phone. You may feel restless sitting in silence, but with time you will notice the shift. You will notice that you begin to feel lighter. You will notice that the day no longer feels overwhelming right from the start. You will notice that you have a strength that was not there before, and you will realize that the strength came from your choice to start with gratitude and focus. This is not about doing it once. This is about making it a habit. The real power is in the repetition. The real power is in showing up for yourself every single morning. When you build this habit, you train your mind to look at life differently. You train your mind to pause before rushing. You train your mind to notice what is good instead of always chasing what is missing. And you train your mind to concentrate on what matters instead of being distracted by everything else. Over time, this habit rewires your mindset. You will see possibilities where before you only saw problems. You will feel calm where before you felt stress. You will find energy where before you felt drained. And the more you practice, the more natural it becomes. Think about how most people spend their mornings. They are half awake. They scroll through news or social media. They eat in a rush. They head out already tired. And then they wonder why the day feels heavy. They wonder why they feel behind. But when you start your morning with gratitude and focus, you are not behind. You are ahead. You are building a mindset that is prepared to meet the challenges. You are building a spirit that is not easily discouraged. And you are building a heart that stays centered no matter what the day brings. One of the strongest lessons I learned early in life is that your day is won or lost in the morning. If you win the morning, you often win the day. If you lose the morning, you spend the rest of the day trying to catch up. Gratitude wins the morning. Focus wins the morning. Together, they put you in control. Together, they create momentum. Together, they shape your attitude, and your attitude shapes everything else. So here is what I encourage you to do starting tomorrow. Wake up, sit quietly, and remind yourself of 3 things you are grateful for. Feel them deeply, not just in your mind but in your heart. Then decide what your main focus will be. Write it down if you can. Keep it in front of you. And whenever distractions come, return to that focus. Protect it. Defend it. Give it your best. This may take only 10 minutes each morning, but those 10 minutes can change your life if you repeat them consistently. Over the years, I have seen people transform their lives with this single habit. They went from waking up stressed to waking up calm. They went from being pulled by every little distraction to moving with clarity. They went from feeling tired at the start of the day to feeling energized before they even left the house. And the common factor was that they learned to start their mornings with gratitude and focus. They did not wait for the world to be perfect before feeling grateful. They did not wait for conditions to line up before choosing focus. They chose first, and their choice shaped everything that followed. The truth is, life is not always easy. Some mornings you will wake up with worries. Some mornings you will wake up with challenges waiting for you. But even on those mornings you can still choose gratitude. Even on those mornings you can still choose focus. And those choices will give you the strength to face the day without breaking under its weight. You will not always control what happens around you, but you can always control how you begin. And when you begin well, you carry that strength through the rest of the day. This habit is not about perfection. It is not about never having a bad morning. It is about creating a rhythm that pulls you back on track. When you slip, gratitude pulls you back. When you wander, focus brings you back. And when you keep practicing, you build a foundation that nothing can easily shake. That is the gift of this habit. It is not just about mornings. It is about training your mind and spirit to live stronger, calmer, and more directed every day. This is where real change begins. Not with giant steps, not with overnight transformations. It begins with simple daily choices. It begins with deciding to use the first minutes of your day wisely. It begins with gratitude and focus. And once you learn to master your mornings, you will discover that you are also mastering your mindset, your attitude, and your future. Chapter 2. Speak positive words that lift your own spirit. Many people spend their entire day surrounded by negative words. They hear complaints at work. They hear doubt from others. They hear discouragement from their own thoughts. And without realizing it, those words start to shape their emotions. They feel heavy because the words they hear and speak carry weight. They feel tired because those words drain their energy. They feel stuck because those words build invisible walls around their mind. The truth is, words are not just sounds. Words are signals that go directly into your thoughts. And if you are not careful, your own words can either lift you higher or pull you down lower. That is why the habit of speaking positive words to yourself is so powerful. When you speak positive words, you give yourself a gift that no one else can give you. Positive words tell your mind that you believe in yourself. Positive words remind your heart that there is still hope. Positive words strengthen your spirit when life feels heavy. Many people wait for others to speak encouragement before they feel good. But if you wait for others, you may wait too long. You must be the one to create words that build you up. You must be the one who chooses to fill your own ears with uplifting words. It is a responsibility to yourself because no one lives inside your head except you. Think about how you feel when someone praises you with genuine words. You feel lighter. You feel seen. You feel strong. That is the same effect you can create when you speak to yourself in the same way. When you say, "I can handle this," your body feels stronger. When you say, "I am proud of my progress," your heart feels calmer. When you say, "I will figure this out," your mind feels more focused. It is not magic. It is the way the human brain responds to language. Your inner voice is the most powerful voice you hear, and you cannot escape it. So you must make sure it speaks life instead of doubt. The problem is that most people are not aware of the words they say to themselves each day. They criticize themselves quickly. They blame themselves harshly. They compare themselves endlessly. And over time, those negative words create a mindset of defeat. It becomes normal to think small. It becomes normal to feel unworthy. It becomes normal to expect failure. But when you begin to notice your words, you realize you have the power to change them. You realize you can interrupt the cycle and replace it with something that gives you strength. You realize you are not stuck with the words of yesterday. Start by paying attention to the way you talk to yourself when you make a mistake. Do you say, "I am so stupid," or do you say, "I will learn from this"? The first one closes the door. The second one opens it. The first one weakens your confidence. The second one builds it. Words carry energy that flows directly into your emotions. If you feed yourself words of defeat, you feel defeated. If you feed yourself words of possibility, you feel alive again. That is how strong the link between language and emotion really is. Some people think speaking positive words is unrealistic. They believe it is about pretending life is perfect. That is not true. Positive words are not lies. Positive words are choices. They are reminders that even in difficulty you still have strength. They are reminders that even with challenges you still have options. They are reminders that even if today is hard, tomorrow can be different. You are not lying to yourself when you say something positive. You are training your mind to focus on solutions instead of problems. You are teaching yourself to look at the part of life that is still working. Imagine a person starting their day by saying, "I cannot handle this." Now imagine the same person starting their day by saying, "I am capable of handling challenges one step at a time." Both statements might feel true in the moment, but one drains energy and the other fuels energy. The first closes the mind. The second opens it. That is why every word you speak to yourself matters. It becomes a seed that grows into the way you think and feel. And the more you repeat it, the stronger it becomes in shaping your reality. It may feel strange at first to speak to yourself in a positive way. You may feel uncomfortable saying kind words to yourself out loud. That is because most of us were never taught to do it. We were taught to be polite to others, but not to ourselves. We were taught to encourage others, but not to our own spirit. But once you begin practicing, it feels natural. Once you experience the effect, you will not want to stop. You will notice how much better your mornings feel when you start with uplifting words. You will notice how much calmer you feel during stress when you remind yourself of your strength. You will notice how much more energy you have when you speak with kindness instead of criticism. A good way to start is by choosing a few sentences that feel true and repeat them daily. You can say, "I am capable." You can say, "I am learning." You can say, "I deserve good things." You can say, "I will not give up." These sentences may be simple, but they are powerful. They go directly into your subconscious. They rewire your belief about yourself. And over time, they become the natural voice in your mind instead of the negative one. That is how change happens, one word at a time. The key is consistency. One positive word will not erase years of negative self-talk, but daily positive words can slowly replace them. Every time you speak encouragement to yourself, you weaken the old voice of doubt. Every time you repeat a positive phrase, you strengthen a new voice of confidence. And the more you practice, the easier it becomes. At some point, you will notice that your natural response to problems is no longer fear but calm. You will notice that your natural response to setbacks is no longer defeat but determination. That is the result of speaking positive words that lift your spirit. Life has many voices competing for your attention. The voice of society, the voice of doubt, the voice of fear. But the voice that matters most is the one inside your own mind. If you make that voice a source of power, you can handle whatever comes your way. If you make that voice a source of peace, you can stay steady when others fall apart. And if you make that voice a source of courage, you can keep moving forward, even when things feel uncertain. You do not need permission from anyone to speak these words. You only need the willingness to choose them. There will always be people who criticize you. There will always be challenges that test you. There will always be days that feel heavy. But in those moments, your words are your tool. You can tell yourself to keep going. You can remind yourself that you are stronger than this. You can assure yourself that you are capable of finding a way. And those words will not erase the challenge, but they will give you the strength to face it. They will give you the energy to keep trying. They will give you the clarity to see opportunities where before you only saw problems. This habit is not about being loud or dramatic. It is about being intentional. It is about choosing words that support you instead of harm you. It is about taking responsibility for the voice you carry with you everywhere. You cannot control every word you hear from others, but you can control the words you hear from yourself. And when those words are positive, your entire world begins to shift. You see differently. You act differently. You live differently. That is the quiet but powerful effect of speaking positive words that lift your own spirit. Chapter 3. Write down clear goals and read them daily. Most people live their days without a clear direction. They wake up and do what is in front of them. They take care of tasks that feel urgent but not always important. They respond to requests from others. They react to problems that appear. And before they know it, another day has passed without progress on what they truly want. This is the silent struggle for many people. They want more, but they do not have a clear picture of what more looks like. They hope for better, but they do not define what better means. They carry dreams in their mind, but never put them on paper. And because of that, those dreams never become real. A goal that only lives in your mind is weak. It fades when life gets busy. It disappears when stress arrives. It gets lost in the noise of daily routines. But a goal written down on paper becomes visible. It becomes something you can look at, touch, and remember. Writing down your goals is a powerful act because it transforms a thought into a commitment. It tells your mind that you are serious. It tells your heart that this matters. It creates a record that you can return to when distractions try to pull you away. That is why writing down clear goals is one of the most important habits you can ever build. Clarity is the key word here. A vague goal will not inspire you. A vague goal will not guide you. Many people say, I want to be successful. But what does that mean? Success can mean many things. Success can be financial growth, personal growth, health, relationships, or learning. If you do not define it clearly, your mind cannot focus on it. A clear goal is specific. It says, I want to save this amount of money by this date. It says, I want to read this many books this year. It says, I want to improve my health by walking for 30 minutes each morning. Clarity removes confusion. Clarity gives direction. Writing down your goals also creates accountability. When your goal is only in your mind, it is easy to change it or forget it. But when it is written, it becomes real. You can no longer pretend it was never there. You see it in front of you. You are reminded of what you said you would do. That reminder creates pressure, but it is a healthy pressure. It is the pressure that pushes you to take action. It is the pressure that makes you ask yourself every day, am I moving closer or farther from my goal? That is the kind of accountability that turns wishes into achievements. Now let us talk about the practice of reading your goals daily. Writing them once is not enough. You must remind yourself often. Daily reading of your goals feeds your mind with focus. It keeps your attention sharp. It prevents your goals from being buried under endless tasks. Each time you read them, your brain receives a signal that these things matter. Each time you read them, your motivation is refreshed. Each time you read them, your commitment grows stronger. This daily act keeps your goals alive. Without it, they can fade back into the background of your busy life. Think of the energy that comes when you review your goals in the morning. You wake up and instead of drifting, you remind yourself of where you are going. You see the words that represent your future. You feel a sense of direction before the day begins. That feeling affects the way you act. You choose actions that align with your goals. You avoid distractions more easily. You carry a sense of purpose into everything you do. That is the effect of reading your goals daily. It is like giving yourself a map before you start the journey each day. It is not enough to read your goals silently without emotion. You must read them with feeling. You must allow yourself to imagine what it will feel like to achieve them. You must picture the life you will experience when you reach them. That emotional connection makes the goals more powerful. It makes them stick deeper in your mind. When you connect emotion to a goal, it is no longer just a sentence on paper. It becomes a vision that excites you. It becomes a reason to keep going when you feel tired. It becomes a source of energy that keeps pulling you forward. Some people may say that writing and reading goals daily is unnecessary. They may say that if you want something badly enough, you will remember it. But the truth is, life is too full of distractions. You cannot rely on memory alone. You must create systems that remind you of what is important. Writing and reading goals is one of the simplest and strongest systems you can use. It keeps your priorities visible. It keeps your energy focused. It keeps your future in front of you instead of behind you. Without that system, even the most determined person can lose track. There is also a deeper benefit to this practice. Writing down goals makes you think more carefully. When you put words on paper, you are forced to be specific. You are forced to ask yourself, what do I really want? You are forced to choose between what matters most and what matters less. That act of thinking brings clarity that you cannot achieve by keeping everything in your head. And reading them daily makes you refine them over time. You may adjust them as you grow. You may sharpen them as you learn. But the daily review keeps the process alive. Let us imagine an example. A person writes down the goal of starting a business. At first it may feel distant, but each day they read it, they are reminded of that desire. Each day they carry the thought, what step can I take today to move closer? And with time the steps begin to add up. They do research, they make connections, they gather resources. What once was a dream begins to take shape because it was written and read every day. That is the practical effect of this habit. It does not make things happen instantly. It makes them possible through steady direction. Another example can be health. A person writes down the goal of losing 10 pounds in 3 months. They read it every morning. Each time they are faced with a choice between healthy and unhealthy food, the goal is in their mind. Each time they consider skipping exercise, the goal is in front of them. That daily reminder becomes the difference between giving up and staying consistent. It keeps the result alive in their thoughts, and those thoughts guide their actions. That is how reading your goals daily supports discipline. It turns effort into consistency. This habit also affects the way you see yourself. When you write down goals and read them, you begin to identify as someone with direction. You begin to see yourself as someone who takes life seriously. You begin to carry yourself with more confidence because you know where you are going. People notice the difference. They feel the energy in you. They respect the clarity you carry. And that self-image strengthens you even more. It becomes a cycle of growth. The more you practice the habit, the stronger your self-belief becomes. There will be days when you feel tired and unmotivated. There will be times when your goals feel far away. On those days, reading your goals is even more important. It reminds you of the bigger picture. It reminds you that the current struggle is temporary. It reminds you why you started in the first place. That reminder can be the spark that keeps you moving when you feel like stopping. It can be the reason you take one more step instead of giving up. It can be the difference between quitting and persisting. That is the power of daily review. The world around you may not always encourage you. Many people will try to distract you. Many people will not understand your vision. But your written goals are your private agreement with yourself. They are your proof that you are committed. They are your constant reminder that your life is in your hands. And by reading them daily, you protect that agreement. You keep it alive. You keep it strong. You make sure that nothing around you can erase what you have decided for yourself. That is why this habit is not optional if you want to live with purpose. So make it simple. Get a notebook. Write down your goals in clear language. Be specific. Be detailed. And then keep that notebook where you can see it. Read those words every morning before you start your day. Read them every night before you go to sleep. Let them become part of your daily rhythm. The more you do it, the more natural it becomes. And the more natural it becomes, the more your life begins to move in the direction of those goals. It is not complicated. It is not expensive. It is simply a choice. A choice to take your goals seriously. A choice to remind yourself every day of the future you are creating. Chapter 4. Practice deep breathing to calm your busy mind. Life today moves at a fast speed. From the moment you wake up, your mind starts racing. You think about what you need to do, where you need to go, who you need to talk to, and what you might be forgetting. Your thoughts jump from one subject to another without rest. By the time you finish your morning routine, your head already feels heavy. This constant rush of thoughts makes it hard to stay calm. It makes it difficult to concentrate. It makes your body tense without you even noticing. Many people carry this weight all day until they feel drained by evening. They believe it is normal, but it does not have to be this way. There is a simple habit that can calm your mind and relax your body. It is the practice of deep breathing. Breathing is something you already do all the time, but most of the time you do it without thought. When you are stressed or rushed, your breathing becomes shallow. Shallow breathing tells your body to stay tense. Shallow breathing keeps your mind restless. But when you take slow and deep breaths, everything inside you begins to slow down. Your heart rate drops. Your muscles release tension. Your thoughts start to feel lighter. A few minutes of deep breathing can reset your entire state of mind. The power of deep breathing is not just physical. It also changes the way you think. When your mind is busy, it feels like noise that you cannot escape. But when you breathe deeply, you create space between your thoughts. That space brings clarity. It allows you to observe your feelings instead of drowning in them. It gives you the ability to respond instead of react. This is why deep breathing is not just a technique. It is a practice of regaining control. It is a way to remind yourself that you are not at the mercy of your racing mind. You can slow it down whenever you choose. Try this simple method. Sit in a quiet space. Close your eyes if you feel comfortable. Take a deep breath through your nose and let your lungs expand fully. Hold it for a moment, then release slowly through your mouth. Feel your shoulders drop as the air leaves your body. Repeat this several times. As you continue, notice how your chest feels lighter. Notice how your thoughts lose their urgency. Notice how your body feels more relaxed. This is not imagination. This is the natural effect of giving your body more oxygen and giving your mind more stillness. Some people think they do not have time to practice deep breathing. They believe it requires long sessions or special techniques. The truth is, even a few minutes can change how you feel. You can practice deep breathing in your car before a meeting. You can practice at your desk during a short break. You can practice before going to bed to calm your thoughts. You do not need equipment. You do not need training. You only need your breath. And once you see how powerful it feels, you will want to use it more often. The beauty of this habit is that it can be used in any situation. When you feel angry, deep breathing helps you calm down before speaking. When you feel anxious, deep breathing reminds your body to relax. When you feel overwhelmed, deep breathing clears your head so you can think straight. It is a tool that is always available. You carry it with you everywhere. You only need the decision to use it. Over time, it becomes automatic. When stress rises, your body remembers to breathe deeply instead of panicking. That is how powerful this habit can become. There is also an emotional side to this practice. When you breathe deeply, you allow yourself to slow down enough to feel your emotions without being controlled by them. Many people push away their feelings because they are too busy, but those feelings stay inside and create tension. Deep breathing creates the space to acknowledge them without fear. It tells your body that you are safe. It tells your mind that you can handle what you feel. It makes you more aware of yourself. That awareness is the beginning of inner strength. When you make this a daily habit, you start noticing changes in your life. You notice that small problems no longer upset you as much. You notice that you sleep better because your mind is calmer. You notice that your energy feels more steady throughout the day. You notice that you can listen to others without rushing to answer. These are the results of a calmer mind. These are the benefits of giving yourself the gift of deep breathing. It is not just about the moment you breathe. It is about the way it shapes your entire day. Some people may laugh at the idea that something as simple as breathing can change your mindset. But those who practice it know the truth. They know how quickly it can turn stress into calm. They know how deeply it can affect the way they think and feel. They know that the simplest habits often have the strongest impact. You do not need complex tools to calm your mind. You only need awareness of your breath. Once you learn to use it, you will never forget how powerful it is. Deep breathing also connects you with the present moment. Most of the stress you feel comes from thinking about the future or the past. Your mind runs through what might go wrong or what already went wrong. But when you breathe deeply, you focus on now. You focus on the air entering your body. You focus on the air leaving your body. That focus pulls you away from worry. It anchors you in the only moment you can truly live in, which is the present. And the more you practice, the more natural it becomes to return to the present whenever your mind starts to wander. There is another benefit that many people overlook. Deep breathing improves your health. It increases oxygen flow, which improves your energy. It helps your digestion by calming your nervous system. It lowers your blood pressure by relaxing your heart. It supports your immune system by reducing the stress hormones that weaken it. These are not small benefits. They are powerful reasons to practice. Your health is influenced not just by food and exercise, but also by the way you breathe. Learning to breathe deeply is one of the easiest ways to support your body every day. You may be thinking that you will forget to practice once life gets busy again. That is why it helps to create a routine. You can decide to take 5 deep breaths before starting your work. You can decide to take 5 deep breaths before eating each meal. You can decide to take 5 deep breaths before sleeping at night. These simple routines create reminders that become habits. Soon you will find yourself doing it naturally. You will notice tension in your body and respond with deep breathing without even planning it. That is when you know it has become part of who you are. As you practice, you will also notice that your relationships improve. When your mind is calm, you listen better. You speak with more patience. You respond with more kindness. People around you feel that calm energy and respond to it. They trust you more. They enjoy being around you more. All of this begins with the way you breathe. It is a small change that creates large effects, not just for you, but for everyone you interact with. This practice also helps you during moments of decision. When you face an important choice, your mind often feels scattered. Stress can cloud your judgment. But when you pause to take deep breaths, you create mental clarity. You give yourself space to think clearly. You give yourself space to choose wisely. You avoid rushing into choices you may regret. This habit allows you to move through life with more confidence and less regret. It makes you stronger in the face of challenges because you are not reacting blindly. You are responding with calm control. The truth is, your mind will always try to stay busy. It will always create endless thoughts. But you do not have to let it control you. Deep breathing is the way to remind yourself that you are in charge. It is the way to remind your mind that it does not have to race all the time. It is the way to remind your body that it can rest even in the middle of activity. This is not about escaping life. It is about handling life with more balance. It is about staying calm while still moving forward. It is about building strength through stillness. Make this a personal commitment. Each day, take time to practice deep breathing. Let it calm your mind. Let it relax your body. Let it guide your thoughts back to the present moment. Use it during stress. Use it during rest. Use it whenever you need to return to yourself. This is your tool. This is your habit. This is your way to create calm in a world that never stops moving. And once you experience the difference, you will understand why this simple practice can change your life. Chapter 5. Feed your mind with uplifting and wise books. One of the greatest struggles people face today is mental clutter. From the moment you open your eyes, information floods your mind. News filled with fear, endless updates on social media, opinions from people who do not always add value, and constant noise from entertainment that only distracts you. Day after day, this flood enters your mind until it shapes the way you think. Many people do not even notice how this input influences their mood, their energy, and their choices. They feel drained and uninspired because they are not careful about what they feed their minds. Just like the body needs good food to stay strong, the mind needs good content to stay sharp. And one of the best sources of good content is uplifting and wise books. Books are more than pages filled with words. They are tools that carry knowledge, wisdom, and experiences from people who lived before you. They are voices of mentors who speak directly into your mind and help you see the world differently. When you spend time with a good book, you are giving your mind a chance to grow. You are inviting positive ideas into your thoughts. You are surrounding yourself with lessons that build your strength instead of draining it. That is why feeding your mind with wise books is not a luxury. It is a necessity for anyone who wants to live with clarity and purpose. Think about the difference between spending an hour watching mindless content and spending an hour reading a powerful book. One leaves you entertained for a moment, but empty afterwards. The other leaves you challenged, inspired, and ready to take action. One leaves you restless, while the other leaves you stronger. Your future is shaped by what you repeatedly put into your mind. If you put in distraction, you will live distracted. If you put in wisdom, you will live wisely. This is a choice you make every day. Many people say they do not have time to read. But the truth is they do have time. They just give that time to something else. They give it to television. They give it to scrolling on their phones. They give it to unimportant conversations. Reading does not demand hours every day. Even 15 minutes daily can add up to dozens of books in a year. Imagine how much wisdom you could gain if you replaced a few minutes of distraction with a few minutes of reading. Imagine how different your thoughts would be if you filled them with uplifting words every day. Books also help you see beyond your current environment. You may be surrounded by people who think small. You may be in a place where negativity feels normal. But when you open a wise book, you enter a new world. You hear voices of leaders who built strength from nothing. You hear lessons from thinkers who discovered truths that can guide you. You hear encouragement from people who faced struggles even greater than yours and overcame them. These voices expand your perspective. They remind you that your current environment is not the limit of your potential. They show you what is possible. The emotional power of books is just as strong. When you read an uplifting story, you feel hope rising in your chest. When you read wise principles, you feel clarity in your mind. When you read about perseverance, you feel determination building inside you. These are not just words. They are emotions that become part of you. They change the way you face your own challenges. They give you strength in moments when you feel weak. They remind you that you are not alone in your journey. Many people have walked the path before you, and they left their lessons in books for you to learn from. It is important to be selective about the books you read. Not every book will feed your spirit in the right way. Some books distract. Some books confuse. But uplifting and wise books guide you. They are filled with practical lessons. They encourage you to grow. They remind you to stay focused on what matters. When you choose carefully, you create a library of mentors who speak into your life whenever you need them. You build a collection of ideas that you can return to again and again when you need clarity and motivation. Start by asking yourself what areas of your life you want to grow in. If you want to improve your mindset, read books on personal growth. If you want to improve your relationships, read books on communication and connection. If you want to improve your finances, read books on money and discipline. If you want to improve your health, read books on well-being. The key is to choose books that align with your goals. Every book you finish becomes a step forward in your growth. Every page you read is a small investment in your future. Reading also teaches you discipline. It trains you to sit in silence and focus. It teaches you to absorb knowledge slowly instead of rushing for quick entertainment. This discipline carries over into other areas of your life. You become more patient. You become more thoughtful. You become more intentional with your actions. A wise book does more than teach lessons. It builds habits of the mind. It teaches you how to think, not just what to think. That kind of growth is priceless. There is also a special joy that comes from reading a book that speaks to your soul. You feel a connection to the author, even if they lived decades ago. You feel as if they are speaking directly to your heart. You find sentences that echo in your mind for days. You find ideas that make you stop and reflect deeply. You may even feel your eyes tear up when a powerful truth touches you. These moments remind you why books are so valuable. They carry emotional impact that no quick video or short article can replace. When you develop the habit of reading daily, your vocabulary also grows. You find new ways to express your thoughts. You learn to communicate with more clarity and confidence. This skill improves every part of your life. It helps you in your work. It helps you in your relationships. It helps you in your self-expression. The words you use shape the way people see you, and books give you the gift of better words. They sharpen your mind and make your communication stronger. One of the most practical ways to make reading a habit is to create a set time each day. You can read in the morning to start your day with inspiration. You can read during lunch to give your mind a refreshing break. You can read before bed to calm your mind with wisdom instead of noise. Choose a time that works for you and stay consistent. The consistency is more important than the amount of time. Even a few pages each day add up over time. The key is to make reading a non-negotiable part of your routine. As you read more books, you will notice changes in the way you think. You will find yourself pausing before reacting. You will find yourself looking at problems with curiosity instead of frustration. You will find yourself speaking with more confidence. These are the results of feeding your mind with uplifting content. They are not sudden changes. They are slow but steady transformations. But over time they shape the entire direction of your life. Reading wise books also sets an example for others. When your family sees you reading, they notice your discipline. When your friends see you growing, they become curious. When your children see you reading, they learn the value of knowledge. Your habit can inspire those around you to do the same. You may never know how many lives are touched by your decision to pick up a book each day. Growth spreads. Inspiration spreads. And it often begins with one person who chooses to lead by example. The truth is, you cannot always choose the information that comes at you from the outside world, but you can choose the information you invite into your mind. Books give you that choice. They give you control over what ideas you absorb. They give you a way to filter out the noise and focus on wisdom. That is why they are so powerful. They are your defense against the chaos of daily life. They are your tool to build a stronger, wiser, and calmer mind. So make it a personal mission to fill your shelves with uplifting and wise books. Carry one with you so you can read during spare moments. Highlight the lines that touch you. Write down the lessons that matter most. Revisit the books that changed your life. Let them become part of your daily rhythm. Let them shape the way you think, the way you feel, and the way you live. Each page is a step toward a better version of yourself. Each chapter is a gift of wisdom that no one can take away from you. The more you feed your mind with uplifting books, the stronger your spirit becomes. Chapter 6. Surround yourself with people who bring growth. One of the hardest lessons in life is realizing how much the people around you influence the way you think and the way you live. Many people wonder why they struggle to change their habits, why they feel stuck, or why their dreams never take shape. Often the answer is not found in their personal ability but in their environment. If you spend your time with people who complain, you will learn to complain. If you spend your time with people who make excuses, you will start to make excuses. If you spend your time with people who lack ambition, your own ambition will shrink. Human beings are social by nature, and we absorb the energy and attitudes of the people we allow close to us. Surrounding yourself with people who bring growth is one of the most powerful choices you can make. Growth-minded people challenge you to think bigger. They inspire you with their actions. They hold you accountable when you want to give up. They celebrate your progress instead of resenting it. Being around people like that lifts you higher without you even realizing it. You find yourself working harder because their example motivates you. You find yourself speaking more positively because their words influence you. You find yourself making better choices because their presence reminds you of your own potential. This is not about luck. This is about intention. You must choose carefully who you allow in your inner circle. Think about how it feels to spend time with someone who drains your energy. You feel tired after a simple conversation. You feel smaller because they belittle your dreams. You feel distracted because they fill your mind with gossip or negativity. Now think about how it feels to spend time with someone who uplifts you. You leave the conversation feeling motivated. You feel encouraged because they believe in your ideas. You feel lighter because they see the best in you. That contrast is powerful. The choice of who you spend time with can either hold you back or push you forward. It is important to remember that you cannot always control every relationship. You may have co-workers or family members who are negative. You may not be able to avoid them completely, but you can choose how much influence they have over your mindset. You can set boundaries for how much time and energy you give them. And most importantly, you can choose to balance those influences by spending more time with people who bring growth. Even a small group of positive and ambitious people can outweigh a crowd of negative voices if you stay close to them. Surrounding yourself with growth-minded people does not mean finding perfect people. No one is perfect. It means finding people who are committed to progress. People who may stumble but get back up. People who are willing to learn and improve. People who are not satisfied with staying the same year after year. When you see that spirit in someone, stay close to them. Learn from their discipline. Watch how they handle challenges. Notice how they stay focused on their goals. Let their example remind you that growth is possible for you too. You may ask where to find people like this. The answer is to start by being one yourself. When you work on your own growth, you naturally attract others who are doing the same. When you show discipline, people who respect discipline will notice. When you speak positively, people who value positive energy will draw near. Growth attracts growth. But you must also be intentional in seeking out the right environments. Attend events where people are learning and sharing ideas. Join groups where people are focused on personal development. Read and discuss books with those who enjoy wisdom. In these spaces, you will meet people who are moving forward, and that connection can change your life. The conversations you have daily shape the direction of your thoughts. If you constantly hear complaints, your mind will search for problems. If you constantly hear ideas, your mind will search for solutions. This is why it is so important to choose your circle wisely. A single conversation with the right person can spark an idea that changes your future. A single word of encouragement can give you strength to continue when you feel weak. Never underestimate the influence of the voices you allow near your heart. They become part of your inner dialogue over time. Sometimes choosing growth means making hard decisions. You may realize that certain friendships no longer support your future. You may realize that spending too much time with certain people keeps you stuck in the same patterns. Letting go is not easy, but staying in the wrong environment is even harder in the long run. It steals your energy. It steals your vision. It steals your motivation. You do not need to cut people out with anger. You can simply shift your focus. You can spend less time with those who drain you and more time with those who inspire you. That simple shift can make all the difference. Think about this truth. Your income, your health, your mindset, and your habits are often close to the people you spend the most time with. If your friends are careless with money, it is likely you will be careless too. If your group ignores health, it is likely you will ignore it as well. If your circle speaks doubt, you will start doubting yourself more. But if you spend your time with people who are disciplined, ambitious, and hopeful, those qualities will begin to shape your own behavior. You cannot escape the influence of your environment. The only choice you have is to create an environment that serves your growth. Growth-minded people are not just those who succeed in obvious ways. They can be mentors, peers, or even people younger than you who have fresh energy. What matters is their attitude. They believe in learning. They believe in improving. They believe in encouraging others along the way. These are the people you want near you. They are the ones who challenge you to set higher standards for yourself. They are the ones who remind you that excuses do not build success. They are the ones who show you through their example that discipline pays off. Their presence alone can lift your vision and sharpen your discipline. Surrounding yourself with people who bring growth also means learning to give as much as you receive. You cannot only take encouragement from others. You must also give it. You must be the person who lifts others when they feel low. You must be the person who believes in others when they doubt themselves. Growth flows both ways. When you help others grow, you grow as well. You build stronger relationships. You build deeper trust. You build a circle where everyone is pushing forward together. That is the kind of community that changes lives. There will be moments when your old environment pulls at you. People may not understand why you are changing. They may feel threatened by your growth. They may try to convince you to stay the same so they feel comfortable. In those moments, you must stay strong. You must remember that your future depends on your choices, not their opinions. You must keep moving toward the people who inspire you instead of the ones who limit you. That strength will be tested often, but every time you choose growth, you get stronger. The energy of people who bring growth is contagious. When you hear their stories, you feel motivated. When you see their progress, you feel inspired. When you share your own journey with them, you feel supported. This exchange creates momentum. It turns individual growth into shared growth. It creates a culture of progress that pushes everyone forward. That is why your circle matters so much. It is not just about you. It is about the collective energy that surrounds you daily. If that energy is positive and ambitious, it will carry you further than you could ever go alone. Your mind is like soil, and the people around you are like seeds. If you allow negative seeds to be planted, negativity grows. If you allow positive seeds to be planted, growth blooms. Every conversation, every interaction, every relationship leaves something behind. You must decide what kind of seeds you want in your life. If you choose wisely, your environment becomes a source of strength. If you choose carelessly, your environment becomes a source of struggle. This choice is always in your hands. Make the effort to evaluate your circle. Ask yourself, who lifts me up? Who challenges me to grow? Who supports my vision? Who makes me want to be better? Spend more time with those people. Ask yourself, who drains my energy? Who discourages my progress? Who makes me feel stuck? Limit the time you spend there. These questions are not about judgment. They are about protection. You must protect your mind and your future by choosing your environment with care. When you surround yourself with people who bring growth, you begin to notice a new energy in your life. You feel more motivated to work on your goals. You feel more confident about your decisions. You feel more hopeful about your future. You see opportunities where before you saw obstacles. This is not luck. It is the natural result of being in the right environment. The people around you either water your dreams or dry them out. You must choose those who water them. That choice shapes your mindset, your habits, and your destiny. Chapter 7. Replace every complaint with one simple solution. Most people do not realize how much energy they waste by complaining. Complaints fill conversations in homes, workplaces, and even among friends. People complain about the weather, their jobs, their health, their finances, or the actions of others. It becomes such a normal part of life that they hardly notice how often they do it. The problem is that complaints never fix anything. They only make the problem feel bigger. They steal energy that could be used for improvement. They fill the mind with frustration instead of hope. They weaken motivation instead of building it. That is why one of the most powerful habits you can build is replacing every complaint with one simple solution. When you train yourself to look for solutions, your life changes. You no longer see problems as heavy blocks that stop you. You see them as steps you can climb. The complaint may be natural, but the solution is what moves you forward. For example, if you say, "I am tired of feeling out of shape," that is only a complaint. But if you say, "I will start walking for 20 minutes each morning," that becomes a solution. One sentence keeps you stuck. The other sentence creates progress. It is the shift from focusing on what is wrong to focusing on what you can do. Every complaint carries a hidden opportunity. When you hear yourself complain, it is a signal that something needs attention. You can either stay in that negative feeling, or you can use it as fuel to create change. If you complain about your job, you can take steps to learn new skills. If you complain about your finances, you can start tracking your spending. If you complain about your health, you can begin making one healthier choice today. The solution does not have to be big. It only has to be real. Even a small action breaks the cycle of complaint and starts the cycle of growth. Many people resist this idea because complaining feels easier. It feels good to release frustration. It feels comforting to share struggles with others. But that short moment of release is followed by a long feeling of helplessness. Complaining convinces the mind that nothing can be done. It makes you feel like a victim instead of a creator. Replacing complaints with solutions restores your sense of control. It reminds you that you always have a choice. It gives you power instead of taking it away. The emotional shift is profound. Instead of hopelessness, you feel determination. Instead of anger, you feel purpose. Imagine two people facing the same difficulty. The first one spends all day saying, "Why me? This is not fair. I cannot handle this." The second one spends all day asking, "What can I do about this right now?" Both feel the challenge, but one remains trapped while the other begins moving forward. The difference is not in the problem but in the mindset. The one who looks for solutions begins to see options. They begin to notice small steps they can take. And those small steps build confidence that grows with each action. That is the power of replacing complaints with solutions. The habit can begin with awareness. You must listen to your own words. Notice when you start saying things like, I cannot, I hate, I am tired of, or why does this always happen? These are the signals of complaint. The moment you catch yourself, pause and ask one question. What is one small thing I can do right now to improve this? That question alone can transform your thought. It takes you from helplessness to action. It may not solve the entire problem at once, but it creates movement. And movement is what breaks the hold of frustration. This habit also changes your relationships. People often bond over complaints. They sit together and share negative stories. But those conversations drain everyone involved. If instead you become the person who shifts the talk to solutions, you change the energy of the group. You bring hope into the room. You bring action into the discussion. Others will notice your approach and feel encouraged to think differently. Over time you will find that people respect your perspective more. They will seek your presence because you do not add to their weight, you help them lift it. It is important to understand that replacing complaints does not mean ignoring feelings. You are still allowed to feel upset or frustrated. You are still allowed to express what is wrong. But the difference is you do not stop there. You let the feeling guide you to action. You let the frustration remind you that something can be improved. You let the complaint turn into fuel instead of poison. This balance keeps you human while still keeping you productive. It keeps your emotions valid but also keeps your life moving forward. Another powerful part of this habit is how it affects your health. Complaining increases stress. It raises tension in your body. It makes your breathing shallow. It keeps your muscles tight. But when you replace complaints with solutions, your body relaxes. You feel lighter because you are no longer carrying helplessness. You feel calmer because you have a plan, even a small one. Your energy is preserved because you are not wasting it on endless negativity. This is not just a mindset habit. It is a habit that directly influences the way your body feels each day. You will face moments when solutions are not clear. There may be situations that feel too big or out of your control. Even then, there is always something small you can do. You can change the way you respond. You can ask for advice. You can adjust your attitude. You can choose patience. The solution may not remove the problem immediately, but it keeps you from being stuck in endless complaints. It keeps your mind engaged in finding possibilities instead of building walls. It reminds you that you are never powerless, even in the hardest times. Let us take an example many people face. Someone may complain daily about traffic. They feel stressed every morning because of it. The complaint does not change the situation, but a solution could be leaving earlier, listening to educational audio, or planning a different route. These small choices turn wasted time into productive time. The complaint leads to stress. The solution leads to progress. This example shows how even the most common frustrations can be turned around with a shift in mindset. Another example is health. A person may complain about feeling tired all the time, but that complaint only makes them feel weaker. A solution could be drinking more water, going to bed earlier, or moving their body for 10 minutes a day. None of these actions are complicated, but they create change. The complaint keeps you stuck in the same pattern. The solution moves you into a new pattern. And once you start, you build momentum that carries you further. This practice also builds confidence over time. Each time you replace a complaint with a solution, you prove to yourself that you can handle life. You prove that you are not controlled by circumstances. You prove that you can create progress even in small ways. That repeated proof becomes self-belief. It becomes the voice in your head that says, I can find a way no matter what. That voice is powerful. It is the foundation of resilience. It makes you strong in the face of difficulty because you have trained yourself to look for answers instead of excuses. The world has no shortage of complainers. You will hear them everywhere. But very few people train themselves to be solution seekers. If you choose to be one of them, you will stand out. People will notice your calm energy. They will notice your practical ideas. They will notice that you do not waste time in negativity. And because of that, they will see you as a leader. You do not need a title to be a leader. You only need the discipline to choose solutions over complaints. That discipline influences everyone around you. At first, this habit will feel challenging. Complaints come easily. Solutions require thought. But with practice, it becomes natural. Soon you will notice complaints quickly and replace them without effort. Soon you will find that your first instinct is no longer to dwell on the problem, but to search for the answer. That shift is the sign of a rewired mindset. It is the sign that you have built a habit of growth. And the results will show in every area of your life, from your work to your relationships to your health. Replacing complaints with solutions is not about ignoring reality. It is about facing reality with strength. It is about refusing to stay in the same place of frustration. It is about training your mind to look for light instead of darkness. It is about choosing progress over pity. This choice may seem small in the moment, but repeated daily, it reshapes your future. It turns you into a person who keeps moving forward no matter what. It turns you into someone who does not wait for life to change, but takes action to change it. And that kind of person is unstoppable. Chapter 8. Take small steps daily toward your best vision. Many people get stuck because they believe change has to happen all at once. They believe their dreams require one giant leap. They look at where they are and where they want to be, and the gap feels impossible. That gap makes them freeze. They think, how can I get from here to there? The size of the vision feels overwhelming, so they never begin. This is a struggle for so many. They dream of a better life, but they wait for the perfect time, the perfect plan, or the perfect burst of energy. And while they wait, nothing changes. Days pass, months pass, and years pass, while their best vision remains only a dream. The truth is, no great vision is built in one move. It is built step by step. It is built through small daily actions that seem simple in the moment but add up over time. The power of small steps is that they are doable. You can take one today without fear. You can take one tomorrow without pressure. And as the days pass, those steps create progress that builds momentum. That momentum creates belief, and belief creates even more action. This is how dreams turn into reality. Not through massive effort once in a while, but through steady effort every single day. Let us take an example. A person dreams of writing a book. If they sit and think about writing 300 pages, they feel overwhelmed. The thought makes them freeze. But if they write 1 page a day, in less than a year, the book is finished. 1 page does not feel impossible. 1 page does not require a miracle. But 1 page, done daily, creates a result that once felt unreachable. This is the secret of small steps. They turn the impossible into possible. Your best vision may be in your health, your career, your relationships, or your personal growth. No matter what area it is, the principle is the same. Identify the small step you can take today and take it. If your vision is health, your step may be drinking more water, choosing a healthier meal, or walking around the block. If your vision is financial, your step may be saving a few dollars, learning a new skill, or tracking your spending. If your vision is personal growth, your step may be reading 10 pages of a book or practicing gratitude. These steps may feel small, but they build the foundation of change. The beauty of small steps is that they remove excuses. You cannot say it is too hard to walk for 10 minutes. You cannot say it is too difficult to write a single page. You cannot say it is impossible to save a small amount. When the step is small, the resistance is weak. And once you complete the step, you feel the satisfaction of progress. That feeling gives you energy for the next step. The cycle of growth begins. Small steps create small wins, and small wins build big confidence. That confidence is what keeps you moving toward your vision. Another powerful part of small steps is consistency. If you act once in a while, you do not build momentum. But if you act daily, even in small ways, you create a rhythm. That rhythm turns into a habit, and a habit becomes part of your identity. You no longer need to force yourself. It becomes natural. You become the person who writes daily, the person who exercises daily, the person who learns daily. That identity is powerful because it no longer depends on motivation. It depends on who you have trained yourself to be. It is important to also recognize the role of patience. Small steps will not give you instant results. They require time, but the time is worth it because the growth is steady and lasting. Many people quit because they do not see results fast enough. They forget that the seed takes time to grow before you see the fruit. The same is true for your vision. At first, progress may feel invisible, but if you keep stepping daily, one day you will look back and realize how far you have come. The results will be clear because the foundation has been built day by day. Think about how life feels when you go to bed knowing you took one step forward. You feel calm because you did not waste the day. You feel proud because you honored your vision. You feel hopeful because progress is being made. That feeling is priceless. It carries you into the next day with energy. It reminds you that you are moving forward even when the road feels long. Without small steps, you feel stuck. With small steps, you feel alive with direction. Small steps also protect you from fear. Fear grows when the task feels too big. But when the step is small, fear has no room. You do not have to face the entire mountain. You only face the next stone in front of you. And once you step on it, the next one becomes clear. This approach keeps you moving even in uncertainty. You may not see the whole path, but you do not need to. You only need to see the next step. That is enough to keep you going. There is also joy in small steps. Many people miss the beauty of progress because they only celebrate the big wins. But small steps give you daily victories. Every page written, every workout finished, every coin saved, every book read is a win. If you learn to enjoy those small wins, the journey itself becomes rewarding. You no longer feel like you are waiting for happiness in the future. You feel it each day as you move toward your vision. That joy makes the journey lighter. It makes the process sustainable. Sometimes people hesitate because their steps seem too small. They think, what difference does it make if I only save a little, or only exercise for 10 minutes, or only read a few pages? The answer is that it makes all the difference. Because those small actions, repeated daily, grow into powerful habits. And habits shape your life. The size of the step does not matter as much as the consistency of the step. What matters is that you are moving. Movement creates change. Your best vision is not built by chance. It is built by choice. Each day you have the choice to step closer or to stay still. If you stay still, the vision remains a dream. If you step forward even a little, the vision becomes more real. The difference between those who achieve and those who do not is often this simple. The achievers keep stepping daily. The others wait for the perfect moment. Waiting does not create results. Action does. Think about the people you admire. If you study their lives, you will see the same pattern. They did not arrive overnight. They took consistent steps daily. They worked when others waited. They moved when others complained. They built their future with small actions that added up. You can do the same. Your best vision may take time, but time will pass anyway. The question is whether you will use that time for growth or let it slip away. This habit also gives you strength during setbacks. When you face failure, you do not have to give up. You can still take the next small step. When you feel tired, you can still take the next small step. When life feels overwhelming, you can still take the next small step. That persistence keeps you alive in the face of difficulty. It keeps you moving when others stop. It ensures that no matter how slow the progress, you are still progressing. And that is what matters most. Your vision is like a destination. The path may feel long, but every small step brings you closer. You may not notice the change day by day, but over months and years the difference is undeniable. The person who takes one small step daily will always reach further than the person who waits for the perfect giant leap. This is the secret to building a life of growth. Daily action, no matter how small, creates the future you desire. Make it your mission to decide on one small step each day. Ask yourself in the morning, what is one thing I can do today to move closer to my best vision? Write it down. Do it before the day ends. Let that step be your daily victory. Over time, those victories will pile up. They will create momentum. They will create belief. And they will create the life you once only imagined. The future is built this way, step by step, day by day, always forward. Chapter 9. Learn from failure and turn it into wisdom. Failure is one of the hardest experiences for most people. It brings feelings of disappointment, embarrassment, and sometimes even shame. It makes you question your ability and your decisions. Many people avoid trying new things because they are afraid of failure. They believe failing means they are not good enough. They believe failing means they should not try again. But the truth is, failure is not the end. Failure is one of the greatest teachers in life. Every mistake you make carries a lesson that can shape your future. Every wrong turn carries wisdom that you cannot learn from success alone. The question is not whether you will fail. The question is whether you will learn from it. When you change the way you look at failure, it becomes less frightening. Instead of seeing it as proof of weakness, you see it as proof that you tried. Instead of seeing it as an end, you see it as a step. Instead of seeing it as something to avoid, you see it as something to study. This shift in perspective makes failure valuable. It turns painful moments into learning moments. It turns setbacks into setups for growth. The experience may hurt, but the wisdom you take from it can last a lifetime. Think about the first time you learned a skill. Maybe it was riding a bike, cooking, or learning a new subject in school. You did not succeed on the first try. You stumbled. You made mistakes. You failed. But each time you tried again, you adjusted. You learned what worked and what did not. Eventually, you succeeded because of the lessons failure taught you. This is the same principle in every area of life. Failure is not a wall. It is a mirror that shows you what to improve. Without it, you cannot grow. The problem is that most people stop too soon. They fail once and decide it is final. They stop trying before they gain the lesson. They walk away before they discover the wisdom inside the failure. But those who succeed in life treat failure differently. They study it. They ask questions like, what went wrong? What can I do better? What did I learn about myself? They use those answers to move forward with more clarity. They treat failure as feedback, not final judgment. That is what separates those who grow from those who give up. Learning from failure requires humility. You must be willing to admit that you made mistakes. You must be willing to look at yourself honestly. That honesty can feel uncomfortable, but it is powerful. It shows you where you need to grow. It teaches you responsibility. It reminds you that you are in control of your choices. When you accept that, you gain freedom. Because if your choices created the failure, your choices can also create success. That truth is empowering once you embrace it. There is also an emotional strength that comes from failure. Every time you fail and rise again, you build resilience. You prove to yourself that you can handle disappointment. You prove to yourself that you can stand up after falling. That proof becomes confidence. It gives you courage to try again. It gives you patience to keep going. Resilience cannot be built by comfort. It is built by facing hard moments and choosing not to quit. Failure is often the training ground for resilience. Let us take an example. A person starts a business and it fails. They feel crushed. They may even feel embarrassed in front of others. But if they study what went wrong, they gain wisdom. Maybe they learn about money management. Maybe they learn about leadership. Maybe they learn about patience. The next time they try, they are stronger because of those lessons. Many successful people you see today failed several times before they achieved success. They turned each failure into a stepping stone by learning instead of quitting. Another example is relationships. Someone may fail in a friendship or partnership. The pain may feel deep, but if they reflect, they may learn valuable lessons about communication, respect, or boundaries. Those lessons help them build healthier relationships in the future. Without the failure, they may never have learned those truths. The wisdom becomes part of them, and it improves their life moving forward. That is the gift hidden inside failure. Sometimes failure teaches you about timing. You may try something too early without the right preparation. The failure teaches you patience and preparation. Sometimes failure teaches you about effort. You may not have given your full energy, and the failure reminds you to commit more. Sometimes failure teaches you about direction. You may realize you were on the wrong path, and the failure guides you toward the right one. Each failure has a different lesson, but every failure has a lesson if you are willing to look. The danger is when people let failure define them. They stop saying "I failed" and start saying "I am a failure." That shift in language is dangerous. You are not your mistakes. You are not your failures. You are a person who failed, but you can also be a person who learns and grows. The identity you choose after failure determines your future. If you choose to see yourself as a failure, you will stop trying. If you choose to see yourself as a learner, you will keep growing. This choice is always in your hands. Failure also teaches compassion. When you experience your own mistakes, you understand the struggles of others. You become less quick to judge. You become more willing to encourage. You realize that everyone falls and everyone needs support to rise again. This compassion strengthens your relationships. It makes you a better leader, a better friend, and a better human being. Without failure, you may become proud. With failure, you become wise and understanding. One of the strongest ways to turn failure into wisdom is by writing it down. After a setback, take time to reflect and record the lessons. Write what happened. Write what you learned. Write what you will do differently next time. This process turns emotions into clarity. It turns confusion into understanding. Later, you can return to those notes and see how much you have grown. They become a personal record of your progress. They remind you that failure was not wasted. It became part of your growth story. It is also important to share your lessons with others. When you talk about your failures honestly, you help others avoid the same mistakes. You inspire them to keep going when they face setbacks. You show them that failure is not something to hide but something to learn from. This builds trust. It makes you a source of encouragement. Your failure, once painful, becomes wisdom that blesses others. That is one of the highest uses of failure. It turns personal struggle into shared growth. Learning from failure also protects you from arrogance. When success comes, it is easy to believe you did everything perfectly. But if you remember your failures, you stay humble. You remember the mistakes that shaped you. You remember the lessons that guided you. That humility keeps you grounded. It keeps you open to learning. It keeps you from making careless mistakes. Failure humbles you, but humility makes you wise. You must also recognize that failure is temporary. It may feel final in the moment, but it is only a season. With time, the pain fades and the lessons remain. The failure becomes part of your story, not the end of it. You can always choose to rise again. You can always choose to try again. The opportunity to grow is always there. As long as you are alive, failure cannot have the last word unless you let it. Your best vision will always include moments of failure. You cannot grow without them. They are part of the process. But if you commit to learning from each failure, your vision becomes stronger. You become wiser with each step. You become more skilled with each attempt. You become more patient with each setback. Every failure adds something to your character. Every failure prepares you for the success that lies ahead. So when you face failure, do not run from it. Do not hide from it. Do not let it crush you. Face it, study it, learn from it, and let it shape you. Let it turn into wisdom that guides your future. Let it build resilience, humility, and compassion. Let it remind you that growth often comes through difficulty. And let it become the reason you rise again stronger than before. This is how failure becomes one of the greatest gifts in life. It teaches you what no easy path ever could. It prepares you for the success you are capable of creating. Chapter 10. Celebrate progress and reward your own effort. Many people work hard day after day but rarely stop to notice their progress. They set big goals, chase them with intensity, and yet they only measure themselves by what they have not yet achieved. They say, "I will be happy when I reach this point. I will celebrate when I hit that milestone. I will reward myself when everything is perfect." The result is that they never feel satisfied. They never pause to feel proud. They miss the joy of the journey because their eyes are always on the horizon. This constant pressure leaves them tired, frustrated, and disconnected from their own effort. The truth is, if you do not learn to celebrate progress along the way, your goals will never feel fulfilling even when you reach them. Celebrating progress is not about ignoring what still needs to be done. It is about honoring the effort you are already making. It is about recognizing the steps you have taken and the growth you have achieved. It is about reminding yourself that you are moving forward, even if the path feels long. When you celebrate progress, you give your spirit energy to continue. You fuel your motivation. You remind yourself that the work is worth it. Without that celebration, your journey feels like endless labor with no reward. With it, your journey feels meaningful and encouraging. Rewarding your own effort is just as important. Too often, people wait for others to notice their hard work. They wait for praise from a boss, approval from family, or recognition from society. But what if it never comes? If you depend on others to reward you, you give them control over your happiness. Instead, you must learn to reward yourself. You must acknowledge your effort and give yourself something that makes you feel valued. This can be as simple as taking time to rest, enjoying a small treat, or doing something you love. These rewards remind you that your effort matters, even if no one else sees it. Think about the last time you reached a small goal and celebrated it. Maybe you finished a project, stuck to a routine, or overcame a challenge. How did it feel to pause and recognize it? You probably felt lighter. You felt encouraged. You felt stronger to keep going. That is the effect of celebration. Now think about a time you worked hard, but rushed immediately into the next task without stopping. You likely felt drained. You felt like nothing was enough. That is what happens when you forget to celebrate. The work may be the same, but the emotional impact is completely different. Celebrating progress also helps you see how far you have come. In daily life, growth often feels invisible. You may not notice the small changes in your habits, your skills, or your mindset. But when you stop to reflect, you realize how much has improved. You see the steps that once felt hard but now feel natural. You see the progress that once seemed slow but has built into something strong. Without reflection, you miss these victories. With reflection, you gain confidence and momentum. You realize that progress is real, even if the final goal is not yet complete. Rewarding your effort can also strengthen discipline. When your brain connects effort with reward, it learns that hard work pays off. This makes it easier to continue showing up daily. For example, if you reward yourself after completing a week of consistent exercise, your mind associates the routine with positive feelings. If you treat yourself after finishing a project, your mind remembers the joy of completion. These connections build habits that last. They turn effort into something enjoyable instead of only demanding. It is important to note that rewards do not have to be expensive or grand. They only need to feel meaningful to you. A reward could be enjoying your favorite meal, watching a movie guilt-free, buying a small item you wanted, or taking a peaceful walk. The point is to acknowledge the work with something that makes you smile. It does not have to impress anyone else. It only has to remind you that your effort deserves recognition. That simple act can be powerful enough to keep your motivation alive. Some people worry that celebrating too early will make them complacent. They think if they feel proud now, they will lose the drive to keep going. But the opposite is true. When you celebrate progress, you build excitement to continue. You prove to yourself that growth is possible. You feel energized to reach the next milestone. Celebration does not weaken ambition. It strengthens it. It keeps you from burning out by reminding you that the work is producing results. It balances discipline with joy, which is the formula for lasting success. Imagine two people working toward the same goal. The first one works tirelessly but never celebrates. They always focus on what is missing. They grow tired and frustrated. The second one works with the same effort but pauses often to celebrate. They smile at their progress. They reward their effort. They feel joy along the way. Both may reach the goal, but only one enjoyed the journey. Which life would you rather live? Success is not just about reaching the destination. It is also about the quality of the journey. Celebration makes the journey meaningful. There is also a psychological benefit to celebration. When you recognize progress, your brain releases positive chemicals that increase motivation and happiness. You feel proud. You feel accomplished. That positive state increases your focus and creativity. It makes you more productive in the long run. Without celebration, your brain stays in a constant state of stress, always chasing without satisfaction. That stress eventually leads to burnout. Celebration is not just emotional. It is biological. It resets your system with energy and positivity. Learning to celebrate progress also changes the way you look at setbacks. If you only celebrate big wins, failures feel devastating. But if you celebrate effort, even failure holds value. For example, if you try something new and it does not work, you can still reward yourself for the courage to try. You can still celebrate the lesson you gained. This mindset keeps you resilient. It reminds you that progress is not only measured by results, but also by the effort you give. When you honor that effort, you stay strong even during failure. You can build this habit by creating rituals of celebration. At the end of each week, review what you achieved and write it down. Say out loud what you are proud of. Share your progress with someone supportive. Give yourself a small reward. These rituals keep you aware of growth. They remind you not to overlook the progress hidden in your daily effort. Over time, these celebrations become a natural part of your rhythm. They become as important as the work itself. Celebration also spreads to others. When you celebrate your progress openly, you inspire those around you. Your family, friends, and co-workers see that effort matters. They feel encouraged to celebrate their own progress. They feel motivated by your energy. This creates a culture of growth instead of a culture of pressure. In such an environment, people feel valued, hopeful, and strong. You may not even realize how much your personal celebrations lift others until you see the change in their attitude. It is also valuable to remember that progress is personal. What feels small to someone else may feel big to you. Do not compare your journey to others. If you completed one workout this week after months of inactivity, that is progress. If you saved a small amount of money after struggling with discipline, that is progress. If you read one book this month after years of not reading, that is progress. Celebrate what matters to you. The journey is yours. The progress is yours. The celebration is yours. At times, you may feel guilty for celebrating because you think you have not yet done enough. Push that thought aside. You do not need to be perfect to deserve recognition. You only need to be moving forward. Progress, no matter how small, deserves to be honored. That recognition keeps you moving. It keeps you from giving up. It keeps you connected to your vision with joy instead of burden. Celebration is not a distraction from growth. It is part of growth. So make it a habit to celebrate progress and reward your effort daily. At the end of each day, ask yourself, what did I do well today? Say it out loud. Write it down. Give yourself a moment of pride. Then reward yourself with something that feels good. It can be small, but it is powerful. This habit will keep you motivated, balanced, and energized. It will make your journey to your best vision more meaningful. It will remind you that success is not only about the big victories, but also about the daily steps you honor along the way. Chapter 11. Keep your body active to sharpen your mindset. Many people struggle with motivation, focus, and energy, yet they overlook one of the simplest solutions. They want their mind to feel clear, but they allow their body to stay inactive. They want to think sharper, but they spend most of the day sitting. They want to feel alive, but their habits make them tired before the day even starts. The truth is that the body and the mind are connected. If your body is weak, your mind struggles. If your body is active, your mind becomes alert. The way you treat your body shows directly in the quality of your thoughts. That is why keeping your body active is not only about health. It is about sharpening your mindset and building the energy to live at your best. Think about how you feel after sitting for hours without movement. Your muscles feel stiff. Your eyes feel heavy. Your mood drops. You find it hard to concentrate. Now think about how you feel after a brisk walk or some stretching. Your blood flows faster. Your breathing deepens. Your energy rises. Your thoughts feel clearer. The difference is immediate and real. Activity is fuel for the brain. Movement feeds your mental sharpness. This is why staying active daily is one of the most powerful habits for anyone who wants to live with clarity and focus. You do not need long or complicated routines to stay active. Many people think they must spend hours in the gym or follow strict programs. That belief keeps them from starting. The truth is, small movements done consistently make a huge difference. Walking, stretching, climbing stairs, doing bodyweight exercises at home, or even dancing to your favorite music can all keep your body alive. What matters is not perfection. What matters is consistency. The body thrives on movement, and the mind thrives on the energy that movement creates. An active body releases tension that builds up through daily stress. When you carry stress without movement, it piles up in your shoulders, back, and chest. Your body stays tight, and your mind mirrors that tension. But when you move, your muscles relax. Your breathing slows down. Your stress reduces. You feel lighter. That lightness opens your mind to clearer thinking. It helps you respond calmly instead of reacting emotionally. It helps you solve problems with patience instead of frustration. This is why activity is not just physical exercise. It is mental training. It shapes the way you think under pressure. Activity also builds discipline. When you commit to moving daily, you are training yourself to follow through on promises. You are showing your mind that your body can do what you decide. That discipline spreads into other areas of life. You become more consistent in your work. You become more reliable in your habits. You build trust with yourself. Each workout, each walk, each stretch is not just exercise. It is a reminder that you can keep commitments. And when you trust yourself, your confidence grows. That confidence sharpens your mindset even further. The link between activity and energy is undeniable. Many people believe they are too tired to exercise. But the truth is, they are tired because they do not exercise. Inactivity drains energy. Activity creates energy. The more you move, the more alive you feel. Your body rewards movement by giving you more strength for the rest of the day. That strength translates into sharper focus, better decisions, and higher productivity. It allows you to give your best, not just physically but mentally. You cannot expect your mind to perform at its peak if your body is running on empty. Let us take an example. A person starts each morning with 10 minutes of movement. It may be stretching, light exercise, or a short walk. That short practice energizes their body. They enter the day more alert and focused. Their work improves because their mind is sharper. Their conversations improve because their mood is better. Their choices improve because they feel more in control. The movement is small, but the effect touches every part of their life. That is the power of keeping the body active. Movement also improves your emotional state. When you exercise, your body releases chemicals that naturally boost your mood. You feel more positive. You feel less anxious. You feel calmer and more optimistic. These emotional benefits feed directly into your mindset. A positive mood helps you see opportunities instead of only problems. It helps you stay patient instead of restless. It helps you connect with people more warmly. All of this begins with something as simple as moving your body. It is proof that your mindset is not only shaped by thoughts but also by physical activity. Staying active does not mean exhausting yourself every day. It means respecting your body enough to keep it alive with movement. It means treating your body as a partner in your success. It means realizing that when you sharpen your body, you sharpen your mind. The connection is too strong to ignore. When you choose inactivity, you dull your focus. When you choose activity, you sharpen it. The choice is yours each day. And each day you make that choice, you shape the quality of your life. It is also important to make activity enjoyable. If you force yourself into routines you hate, you will quit. But if you choose activities you enjoy, you will stay consistent. Some people love running. Others prefer cycling, swimming, or yoga. Some enjoy team sports. Others enjoy solo workouts. The form does not matter as much as the habit. Choose what excites you and the consistency will follow. Enjoyment fuels discipline, and discipline fuels growth. The key is to keep your body moving in a way that you can sustain. Think about how different your life could feel if you stayed active every day. You would wake up with more energy. You would move through your day with less stress. You would focus more clearly on your goals. You would feel more confident in yourself. You would carry a sharper mindset into every decision. This is not just theory. It is the natural result of an active body. Your body was designed to move, and your mind was designed to thrive when your body moves. Ignoring that truth limits your potential. Honoring it unlocks your strengths. Your best vision for life cannot be achieved with a weak body. It requires energy, focus, and resilience. These qualities come from activity. Each step you take, each movement you make, builds those qualities. The habit of staying active is one of the simplest yet most powerful investments you can make in yourself. It costs little, but the return is massive. It sharpens your thoughts, strengthens your discipline, and fuels your energy. This habit is a foundation for all others. Without it, progress becomes harder. With it, progress becomes natural. Make it simple. Decide to keep your body active every day. Start with what you can do now. If it is 5 minutes of walking, begin there. If it is stretching before bed, begin there. If it is light exercise in the morning, begin there. The size does not matter. The consistency does. As you keep moving, you will feel your body growing stronger. You will feel your mind becoming clearer. You will feel your spirit becoming sharper. This is the reward of daily activity. It transforms not just your body but also your mindset, and it prepares you to live with strength, clarity, and energy each day. Chapter 12. Spend quiet time alone to hear your thoughts. Life today is filled with noise. From the moment you wake up, you are surrounded by voices, screens, and demands. Notifications compete for your attention. Conversations pull you in different directions. Tasks press against your mind one after another. It feels as if the world never slows down. And in the middle of that noise, it becomes difficult to hear your own thoughts. You know you want clarity, but clarity cannot survive in constant noise. This is why spending quiet time alone is essential. It gives you the space to hear yourself, to reflect, and to connect with what truly matters. Without it, you risk living on autopilot, moving through life without direction. Quiet time alone allows you to step away from the demands of others. It is the moment when you no longer respond to messages or react to pressures. It is the moment when you turn down the noise so you can listen inward. Many people fear silence because it feels unfamiliar. They rush to fill it with distractions. But silence is where your deepest thoughts live. It is where your ideas take shape. It is where your emotions surface so you can understand them. Without silence, you bury those thoughts under endless noise. With silence, you uncover them and gain wisdom. Think about the last time you were alone in peace, without distraction. Maybe it was during a walk, or sitting in a quiet room, or simply breathing without hurry. How did it feel? At first, it may have felt strange, even uncomfortable, but after a while you probably felt calmer. You may have noticed ideas rising that you had been too busy to hear. You may have realized solutions to problems that felt overwhelming before. You may have felt a connection to yourself that you had been missing. This is the gift of quiet time. It reconnects you with your own mind. Quiet time is not wasted time. It is not laziness. It is not avoidance. It is one of the most productive things you can do for your mental clarity. When you give yourself silence, you process experiences more deeply. You see patterns in your actions. You recognize mistakes with honesty. You notice progress you had overlooked. You gain perspective on challenges. This kind of reflection shapes wiser decisions. It strengthens your direction. It sharpens your focus. Quiet time is where growth takes root, because growth requires awareness. And awareness cannot grow in constant distraction. Spending quiet time alone also helps you manage emotions. Daily life often stirs frustration, fear, or stress. If you never pause to sit in silence, those emotions stay inside and control you. They build up until they spill out in ways you regret. But when you give yourself space to sit quietly, you notice those emotions without judgment. You hear the thoughts that fuel them. You allow them to settle. This simple practice brings calm. It reminds you that emotions are not permanent. They pass when you create space for them. Quiet time is how you reset your mind from emotional storms. Some people believe they do not have time to sit alone in silence. Their schedules feel too busy. But the truth is, you do not need hours. Even 10 minutes of quiet can shift your day. Even 5 minutes of stillness can calm your mind. The key is not the length of time, but the intention. You must make a conscious decision to step away from noise. You must give yourself permission to pause. This is not selfish. This is necessary. If you do not take time to recharge, you cannot give your best to others. Your clarity is a gift not only to yourself, but also to those around you. There are many ways to practice quiet time. You can sit in a chair and focus on your breathing. You can take a walk in nature without headphones. You can sit with a notebook and write your thoughts without rushing. You can close your eyes in a quiet room and allow your mind to settle. The method does not matter. What matters is that you create space where you are not distracted by outside noise. The purpose is to listen inward. The purpose is to connect with yourself. The purpose is to give your thoughts the attention they deserve. When you spend time alone in silence, you begin to notice the quality of your thoughts. You notice which ones are helpful and which ones are harmful. You notice which ideas inspire you and which ones drain you. This awareness gives you the power to choose your thoughts more wisely. Instead of letting negative thoughts control you, you begin to guide them. Instead of letting doubt rule you, you begin to focus on hope. This kind of mental clarity only comes when you take the time to listen. Without silence, your thoughts remain hidden beneath the noise of the world. Quiet time also sparks creativity. Some of your best ideas will come when you are alone without distraction. When your mind is calm, it makes connections you cannot force in busy moments. You begin to see possibilities. You begin to imagine solutions. You begin to create visions that excite you. This is why so many innovators, writers, and leaders value solitude. They know that silence is where creativity is born. You may not be trying to write a book or build a business, but you still need creativity in your daily life. Quiet time alone is the soil where those ideas grow. It is also during quiet time that you reconnect with your values. Life can pull you in many directions. People tell you what you should do. Society pressures you with expectations. Without silence, you may lose touch with what you truly want. But when you sit alone, you hear your own voice. You remember your goals. You remember your priorities. You remind yourself of the life you want to live. This kind of alignment is essential for happiness. It keeps you from living someone else's life. It brings you back to your own vision. Quiet time is where you find that alignment again and again. At first you may find silence difficult. Your mind may wander. You may feel restless. This is normal. Your mind is used to constant stimulation, so it resists calm. But with practice, silence becomes easier. Your mind learns to slow down. Your thoughts become clearer. Your restlessness fades. Eventually, you begin to crave that quiet time because of how good it feels. It becomes a place of rest, reflection, and renewal. It becomes a habit that strengthens your life. Spending quiet time alone also builds independence. When you learn to be comfortable with your own company, you no longer depend on constant external input for validation. You do not need noise to feel secure. You do not need distraction to feel occupied. You become more confident in yourself. You become more grounded. You begin to trust your own thoughts instead of always seeking approval. This independence strengthens your character. It allows you to stand firm even when others disagree. It allows you to make decisions with clarity. It allows you to lead your life instead of being pulled by others. Quiet time also improves relationships. When you take time alone to process your own thoughts, you bring more clarity into your interactions. You listen better because your mind is not cluttered. You speak with more patience because your emotions are balanced. You connect more deeply because you are centered. People feel this difference. They trust your calm energy. They respect your grounded presence. Quiet time is not only a gift to yourself. It is also a gift to every person you interact with. You can make quiet time a daily ritual. Start with a few minutes each morning or evening. Choose a place where you feel calm. Leave behind your phone and other distractions. Sit in silence and notice your breathing. Let your thoughts come and go without forcing them. If it helps, write down what you hear inside. Over time, increase the length. Soon you will notice that these moments become some of the most valuable parts of your day. They give you perspective. They give you peace. They give you strength. Your best vision for life requires clarity, focus, and wisdom. These qualities do not come from constant noise. They come from reflection. They come from listening inward. They come from silence. This is why quiet time alone is not optional. It is essential. It shapes your mindset. It guides your decisions. It sharpens your direction. And it gives you the energy to live fully each day. Make space for silence and you will hear your thoughts more clearly than ever before. Chapter 13. Practice kindness daily to strengthen inner confidence. One of the struggles many people face is insecurity. They doubt their worth. They question their abilities. They compare themselves to others and often feel they are falling short. This lack of inner confidence holds them back from taking action and from living fully. Most people try to solve this by chasing external validation. They hope that recognition from others will make them feel strong inside. They wait for praise, for approval, or for status. But that kind of confidence fades quickly. The real source of inner confidence does not come from outside. It comes from how you live daily, and one of the strongest ways to build it is by practicing kindness. Kindness may sound simple, but it is one of the most powerful habits you can develop. When you choose to be kind, you prove to yourself that you can make a difference. You prove to yourself that you are capable of giving value to others. You prove to yourself that your presence can bring light instead of darkness. Every small act of kindness becomes evidence that you are strong, compassionate, and capable. This evidence builds inner confidence over time. You no longer depend only on what others say about you. You carry proof in your own actions that you are valuable. Think about how you feel when you help someone, even in a small way. Maybe you held the door open, gave a compliment, or listened patiently. How did you feel afterward? You felt lighter. You felt useful. You felt proud of yourself. That is not an accident. Your brain responds to kindness with positive feelings. It rewards you with confidence. The act may have been small, but the effect inside you is big. Now imagine practicing kindness daily. The effect multiplies. Your confidence grows steadily because every day you are proving to yourself that you matter. Kindness also reduces the habit of self-criticism. Many people fill their minds with negative self-talk. They remind themselves of mistakes and weaknesses. But when you practice kindness, your focus shifts outward. You think less about your own flaws and more about the value you can give. That shift breaks the cycle of self-doubt. You begin to see yourself as a giver, as someone who has something to offer. And when you see yourself that way, confidence grows naturally. Kindness is not just about others. It is about healing the way you see yourself. Daily kindness does not have to be dramatic. You do not need grand gestures. The most powerful kindness often comes in simple forms. A smile at a stranger, a word of encouragement to a co-worker, a message of appreciation to a friend, a patient response when someone is difficult. These actions cost little, but they create big impact. They improve the day of the person receiving them. They strengthen the character of the person giving them, and they build a steady foundation of confidence that grows stronger each day. Some people believe kindness makes them weak. They fear being taken advantage of. They fear appearing soft. But the truth is, kindness requires strength. It takes discipline to stay calm when others are rude. It takes courage to encourage others when you feel low yourself. It takes awareness to notice when someone needs help. Kindness is not weakness. It is control. It is mastery over your emotions. It is proof that you can choose your actions no matter what happens around you. That control is what creates true confidence. Another powerful part of kindness is the way it strengthens relationships. When you practice kindness daily, people feel safe around you. They trust you more. They respect you more. They want to support you in return. These stronger connections give you a sense of belonging and encouragement. You feel less alone. You feel more valued. That feeling feeds your inner confidence even more. You realize that your kindness has built a network of support around you. That network gives you courage to take risks and pursue your goals. Kindness also creates resilience. Life will bring difficulties. You will face setbacks, rejection, and disappointment. But when you practice kindness, you build a mindset that stays positive even in challenge. Instead of sinking into bitterness, you rise with compassion. Instead of closing off, you stay open. This resilience reminds you that you can handle whatever comes your way. You know that no matter what happens, you can still choose to give, to help, and to love. That choice makes you strong. That choice gives you confidence that no difficulty can erase. Let us take an example. Imagine someone struggling at work. Their confidence is low because of mistakes or criticism. If they focus only on their failures, their self-worth sinks further. But if they choose to practice kindness, helping a colleague, encouraging a teammate, showing patience with a customer, they shift their focus. They begin to feel valuable again. They see proof in their actions that they are capable of good. Slowly, their confidence returns, not because someone else gave it, but because they built it themselves through kindness. Another example is in personal life. A person may feel insecure about their appearance or achievements. They may compare themselves endlessly to others. But when they practice daily kindness, they discover something deeper. They realize people appreciate them for their kindness more than their looks or status. They realize their value is in the way they treat others. That realization builds confidence that no comparison can steal. It shifts their focus from what they lack to what they give. And that shift changes everything. Daily kindness also sharpens your awareness. You begin to notice opportunities to give where before you only saw routine. You see the tired cashier who needs a kind word. You see the friend who needs encouragement. You see the stranger who needs a smile. This awareness pulls you out of your own worries and connects you to others. It makes you feel part of something bigger than yourself. And that sense of connection is another source of confidence. You no longer feel small because you realize your actions make a difference in the world around you. It is important to remember that kindness must also be extended to yourself. Many people give kindness to others but speak harshly to themselves. They forgive others but hold their own mistakes forever. They encourage others but criticize themselves constantly. To build true inner confidence, you must practice kindness inward as well. Speak gently to yourself. Acknowledge your effort. Forgive your failures. Celebrate your progress. Treat yourself with the same patience and compassion you give to others. This self-kindness makes your confidence deeper and more stable. Kindness also multiplies. One act of kindness often inspires another. When you are kind, others feel encouraged to pass it forward. This ripple effect can touch people you may never even meet. Knowing that your actions create a chain of goodness strengthens your sense of worth. You realize that even small actions can create lasting impact. That realization gives you confidence that your life matters beyond what you see. It reminds you that you are capable of influencing the world in positive ways. At first, you may need to remind yourself to practice kindness daily. It may feel like one more task, but soon it becomes natural. It becomes part of your identity. You become known as someone who uplifts, encourages, and supports. That identity brings deep confidence because it is rooted in action, not in appearance. It is rooted in giving, not in comparison. It is rooted in daily habits, not in temporary approval. This kind of confidence cannot be taken away because it is built from within. Make it simple. Each day, choose at least one act of kindness. It can be small, it can be private, but do it with intention. Write it down if it helps. Reflect on how it made you feel. Over time, these acts will build a foundation of inner strength. You will notice your insecurity fading. You will notice your self-doubt shrinking. You will notice your confidence growing stronger. This is the power of kindness. It strengthens others while it strengthens you. It builds inner confidence that lasts because it is grounded in daily practice. Chapter 14. Focus on what you can control right now. One of the greatest struggles people face is stress about things outside their control. They worry about what others think of them. They worry about events in the future that have not yet happened. They worry about the past that cannot be changed. They waste precious energy on things they cannot influence, and as a result, they feel powerless. This constant focus on the uncontrollable steals peace of mind. It creates frustration, anxiety, and even anger. But the truth is, real strength comes from learning to shift your focus. The key is to stop giving energy to what you cannot control and start giving full attention to what you can control right now. When you focus on what you can control, you feel lighter. You feel more confident. You feel productive. You shift from being a victim of circumstances to being a creator of progress. Instead of being stuck in what you cannot change, you take action on what is within your reach. That action builds momentum. It builds results. It builds confidence. The world around you may not always cooperate, but your own choices always remain in your hands. This truth gives you freedom once you embrace it. Think about how often people complain about things they cannot change. They complain about the weather. They complain about the economy. They complain about traffic. None of these complaints change anything. They only drain energy. Now imagine if the same energy went into actions that are controllable. Preparing for the weather, learning new skills for financial growth, leaving earlier to avoid traffic stress. These are within your reach. These choices create results. Complaints do not. The difference between feeling stuck and feeling strong is often just a matter of focus. Focusing on what you can control begins with awareness. Every time you feel stressed, ask yourself, is this within my control or outside it? If it is outside, let it go. If it is inside, take action. This simple habit changes everything. It prevents you from wasting energy where it cannot make a difference. It channels your energy into areas where it does make a difference. Over time, you feel less overwhelmed because your attention is no longer scattered. You are no longer pulled by every external factor. You are centered in your own choices. This mindset also helps you in relationships. Many people spend endless energy trying to change others. They want people to think differently, act differently, or speak differently. But you cannot control another person. You can only control your own words, your own reactions, and your own attitude. When you accept this, your relationships become healthier. You stop trying to control what is not yours to control. You focus instead on the example you set, the respect you give, and the boundaries you keep. This creates more peace and less conflict. Your mindset sharpens when you focus on the controllable. Instead of being distracted by uncertainty, you anchor yourself in the present moment. You ask, "What can I do right now?" That question is powerful. It brings you back to action. It brings you back to responsibility. It brings you back to strength. The future may hold challenges, but your present actions prepare you for them. The past may hold regrets, but your present actions allow you to grow from them. The present is where your power lives, and that power is unlocked when you focus on what you can control. Think of an example with health. You cannot control your genetics. You cannot control every illness that may come, but you can control your diet. You can control your activity. You can control your sleep. These choices shape your health more than any complaint or fear ever will. By focusing on what is in your hands, you build strength each day. The same is true with finances. You cannot control the global economy, but you can control your spending. You can control your saving. You can control your learning of new skills. These choices build security no matter what happens outside. Another example is in personal growth. You cannot control how fast opportunities appear. You cannot control how others view your progress. But you can control the effort you give daily. You can control the books you read, the habits you practice, and the discipline you build. Over time, these controllable actions open doors you never expected. This is the law of focus. What you nurture grows. If you nurture what is in your hands, you build a life of progress. If you waste energy on what is beyond your hands, you build only frustration. There is also an emotional freedom that comes with this mindset. Worry shrinks because you no longer give it space. Anxiety weakens because you no longer feed it. You accept that some things are outside your reach, and acceptance brings peace. This peace does not mean weakness. It means wisdom. It means you are smart enough to focus your energy where it matters. It means you are strong enough to let go of what does not. That kind of wisdom is rare, but it is what brings balance to life. Many people think they cannot control their thoughts or emotions. But even here you have power. You may not control the first thought that enters your mind, but you can control what you do with it. You may not control the first wave of emotion, but you can control how you respond. You can choose patience instead of anger. You can choose calm instead of panic. You can choose gratitude instead of resentment. These choices are within your reach, and with practice they become habits. These habits shape the quality of your life far more than external events. Focusing on what you can control also protects your energy. Imagine carrying a heavy bag filled with rocks you cannot put down. That is what it feels like when you hold on to uncontrollable worries. Your body feels heavy. Your mind feels tired. But the moment you release the rocks of what you cannot control, your load becomes lighter. You suddenly have more energy to use on the things you can influence. That energy builds progress. It builds confidence. It builds hope. The simple act of shifting focus is like dropping unnecessary weight. This habit also teaches patience. Many outcomes take time. You cannot control how fast results come, but you can control showing up each day. You can control giving consistent effort. You can control staying disciplined. When you accept that results are not instant, but effort is always in your hands, you learn patience. You learn to trust the process. You learn to focus on the step, not only the destination. That patience is itself a form of strength. It keeps you moving forward without frustration. There will always be distractions pulling at you. News, opinions, and events will try to drag your attention. But remember, not everything deserves your energy. Ask yourself, does this belong to me, or is it outside my reach? If it belongs to you, act. If it does not, release it. This simple practice creates clarity. It clears the fog from your mind. It directs your focus like a laser. It reminds you that your energy is precious and should only be spent where it makes a difference. This mindset is especially powerful in times of crisis. When life feels chaotic, the uncontrollable factors multiply. If you focus on them, you drown in fear. But if you bring your attention back to what you can do right now, you stay steady. You ask, what is one step I can take today? That step may not solve everything, but it keeps you moving. And movement creates hope. Even in crisis, focusing on the controllable gives you strength. It turns fear into action. It turns chaos into direction. Practicing this habit daily builds resilience. You stop being shaken by every external event. You stop wasting energy on things beyond your reach. You become centered, grounded, and calm. People around you notice the difference. They see your steadiness. They feel your clarity. They are drawn to your energy because it is rare. Most people live scattered, but you live focused. That focus makes you strong. That strength makes you an example for others. Make it simple. Each day, when challenges appear, pause and ask, what can I control right now? Write it down if needed. Act on it. Release the rest. Over time, this becomes a habit. It becomes a way of life. And this way of life brings peace, strength, and clarity. Your mindset sharpens. Your energy increases. Your progress multiplies. All because you learn to shift your focus from what you cannot control to what you can. That is where your real power has always been. Chapter 15. End each day by reflecting on your blessings. Every day brings a mix of challenges and victories. Some days feel heavy with problems, while others pass with moments of joy. But no matter what happens, there is always something to be thankful for. The struggle for many people is that they end their day focusing only on what went wrong. They replay mistakes. They think about what they did not finish. They carry stress into their sleep. This habit drains energy and steals peace. But there is a better way. If you end each day by reflecting on your blessings, you give your mind rest. You shift your focus from frustration to gratitude. You allow yourself to end the day with peace instead of pressure. Reflection on blessings is not about ignoring difficulties. It is about remembering that even in difficulty, good things exist. It is about training your mind to see progress instead of only problems. When you sit quietly and recall what went well, you remind yourself that life has balance. You notice the small wins you would otherwise overlook. You give value to the simple moments of kindness, growth, or joy. This practice does not change the events of the day, but it changes how you carry them into tomorrow. It strengthens your mindset. Think about how you feel when you go to bed frustrated. Your thoughts are restless. Your body feels tense. Your sleep is shallow. You wake up tired and carry the same mood into the next day. Now think about how you feel when you go to bed with gratitude. You remember the kind words someone shared with you. You recall a task you completed. You smile at a moment of laughter. Your body relaxes. Your thoughts calm down. You sleep deeper. You wake up lighter. The difference is not in the day itself, but in the way you chose to end it. Reflecting on blessings also builds awareness. Many good things happen during the day, but they go unnoticed because the mind focuses on problems. By taking time at night to reflect, you train yourself to notice these moments more often. You begin to recognize the support of others, the progress in your work, the beauty in simple experiences. This awareness grows stronger with practice. Soon you will notice blessings not only at night, but throughout the day. This shift changes your entire outlook. It makes life feel richer. The practice does not have to be complicated. You can take a notebook and write down 3 things you are grateful for each night. You can speak them out loud. You can quietly think about them before closing your eyes. What matters is the habit of ending the day with appreciation. Some nights your blessings will be big, like reaching a major goal or receiving good news. Other nights they will be small, like enjoying a good meal or hearing a kind word. Both are important. Both shape your mindset. Both remind you that life gives you something to be thankful for every day. Reflecting on blessings also builds resilience. When life is difficult, gratitude becomes a source of strength. Instead of being crushed by problems, you find reasons to stay hopeful. You remind yourself that even in hard times there are things worth holding on to. This perspective keeps you from sinking into despair. It gives you courage to face tomorrow. It reminds you that life is not only about struggles but also about gifts. That balance keeps your spirit steady. This practice also strengthens relationships. When you reflect on blessings, you often think about people who helped you, supported you, or shared kindness with you. This reflection builds appreciation. You feel more connected. You value those people more, and often you express it the next day. A simple thank you, a kind word, or a gesture of appreciation strengthens your bond. Gratitude expressed strengthens not only your confidence but also your connections. Reflecting on blessings helps you see progress in your own growth. Some days you may not feel like you're moving forward, but when you pause to reflect, you notice small steps. You see that you handled stress better. You see that you kept a promise to yourself. You see that you learned something new. These realizations build confidence. They show you that you are not standing still. You are moving forward, even if the steps are small. Recognizing these steps at the end of the day gives you motivation for tomorrow. Many people chase happiness in the future. They say, "I will be happy when I reach this goal or when life gets easier." But happiness is built daily. It is built by noticing blessings in the present. When you reflect on them each night, you train yourself to find happiness now. You realize that joy is not only in the future, it is also in today's moments. This shift changes the way you live. It makes each day more meaningful. It reminds you that life's value is not only in the big victories, but also in the simple blessings along the way. It is also important to practice gratitude for yourself. At night, when you reflect, notice the effort you gave. Be thankful for your discipline, your patience, your growth. Many people only criticize themselves. They end the day thinking of mistakes. But if you also thank yourself for the effort, you build inner confidence. You remind yourself that you are trying. You remind yourself that you are growing. That recognition is powerful. It strengthens you from within. It gives you energy to keep moving forward. Reflection also brings perspective. Problems that felt overwhelming during the day often shrink when you end the night with gratitude. You realize they are not as big as they seemed. You see them in balance with the good things that happened. This balance calms your mind. It prevents stress from controlling your night. It gives you a more accurate picture of life. Problems exist, but so do blessings. When you focus on both, you see life more clearly. That clarity strengthens your mindset. This habit does not take long, but the impact is deep. Even 5 minutes of reflection can change the way you feel. It can transform the energy of your night. It can set the tone for your morning. The practice may feel small, but over weeks and months it reshapes your entire outlook. You begin to live with more gratitude. You begin to speak with more kindness. You begin to carry more peace. All of this comes from the simple decision to end each day by reflecting on your blessings. Make it a personal commitment. Each night, before sleep, pause and ask yourself, what am I thankful for today? Write it, speak it, think it. Let the answer guide you into rest. Let it calm your mind. Let it give you peace. This habit will not remove challenges, but it will give you strength to face them. It will not erase problems, but it will remind you of gifts that surround you. And with that reminder, you will sleep with a lighter heart and wake with a stronger mind.